Namaskar friends, this is NJ, your host on this channel. In this video friends, we are going to have our discussion on the concept of D9 chart or the Navamsa chart. So friends, ever since I started making videos on the combined differentiation between the ascendant chart, moon chart and the sun chart, Mahadasha chart. So a lot of you have been asking about the second most important aspect of our astrological analysis, which is the D9 chart. So that is something friends which I will try to explain you people in this video. I have talked about D9 chart a lot many times, if not on this English channel, so for sure I have uploaded a lot of content on D9 chart on my Hindi channel. But now in this video friends, I'm just going to give you a summary of my understanding on the D9 chart. And like the way I always say this thing, this is a learning platform for everyone. I'm not an expert over here, I'm just a facilitator. Even I learn a lot of things just by your participation and your inputs on the comment section. So okay friends, just feel free to contradict me or supplement me or validate me whatsoever. I'm going to be sharing it over here, and I'm just going to be explaining you my approach and my understanding of D9 chart in certain points. So now friends, to begin with, the first thing is that the features of the D9 chart. So friends, just because our Vedic astrology is so elaborative that it is going to give us a deeper insight in all different areas and aspects of our life. Now as you know this thing, I have mentioned this thing so many times that when we talk about the concrete foundation of your life, whatever you are going to achieve, whatever you are going to lose, all the important physical movement and transformation, all of that gets validated only from the ascendant chart, the chart which gets formed at the time when you were born. So because ascendant chart just represents your physical self. So because of that, that is the kind of importance which is always attached with the ascendant chart. Now if you will come to the 9th house of your ascendant chart, you are going to find the divinity over there. You are going to find the hope over there. You are going to find the answers to all the turmoils over here. Like whenever we say divine intervention, finding the solution to all of your problems with ease, all of that resides in the 9th house. Everything pertaining to the religion, your faith in the gods, your faith in the charity, how many religious pilgrimage you are going to undertake, what is your faith, and how with how much conviction and faith and devotion you follow the path of the religion. So all of that we get to know from the 9th house. Now friends, from the matrimonial perspective, we give emphasize to the 9th house because 9th house tells about your values, your conviction. If you're going to take up that matrimonial vows, how much you're going to value that. Unless and until you are not going to attach value to that, so that could be just a vague promise which you might be giving to everyone in the world. So because of which the intensity and the dignity of the 9th house tells about your conviction in the path of marriage, your devotion to your partner, and your capacity to follow that prescribed path of the marriage within the society, within the community. So that is the features of the 9th house. This is actually the house of your luck and the fortune. And like the way friends, I already mentioned this thing, that the beauty of our Vedic astrology is that if you want to get deeper into any specific area of life, so we have further divisional chart for that as well. So the moment you're going to surgically open up the 9th house of your ascendant chart, the chart which will pop up or is going to come in front of you is the D9 chart or the Navamsa chart. It is the 9th division of your ascendant chart or the Rashi chart. So now friends, comes the question of the features of the D9 chart. So friends, you have to first make this thing very clear that with what objective you are approaching that chart. Okay, let me just make a small joke over here. Go to an eye specialist. So eye specialist, definitely this person is a doctor, so he has the knowledge and awareness of the whole human body, but an eye specialist is only going to look at your eyes only, right? An eye specialist is not going to ask you once you walk in that, okay, take out your tongue, I need to see your throat, I need to check your heartbeat, okay, can you just do some push-up over here? If that eye specialist is gonna behave like that, trust me, I will be worried. So the point which I'm trying to make over here is that the objective which D9 chart serves or fulfill is prospects of your luck, of your fortune, how fortunate you are. Second thing, this chart tells about your matrimonial life. And friends, one more thing which we many times ignore or overlook is that because ninth house, and corresponding to ninth house is the D9 chart. So if ninth house tells about your religion, your religious pursuit, so how come D9 chart is not going to give information on that? So now that is going to take us to the second part of our today's discussion, that when D9 chart gets activated. So this is a topic which has many times been debated amongst many astrologers. Like some people say that D9 chart gets activated once you get married. Once you in a formal setting, legally you get into a matrimonial bond, so your D9 chart gets activated, it starts giving results. But now over here friends, now what happened recently, I was reading this post that in one of the province or state in India, so Uttar Pradesh, UP, the chief minister of that province or state is a celibate, or it's a yogi, like the way someone who has taken the spiritual or religious vows. So now many people have been saying this thing and debating that in this person's chart, definitely his D9 chart is going to be very strong, which is definitely going to helping him in this path. Because at the end of the day, even if you will listen to the interviews of this person, so in lot of his interviews, apart from his duties towards the jurisdiction or the the territory or the area which has been assigned to him, the administrative, the executive duties which has been allotted to him, but he actually serve his duty, and the way he project himself is that it's a duty towards the gods, and he has been chosen as a medium to fulfill that purpose. So the point which I am trying to say over here is that this is where I want to know your opinion and your views and your findings on that. Because many people say this thing that whether we talk about in any religion, all the people who are like have completely devoted their life to the missionary work, or the nuns, or the celibates, or the sadhus, in the rishis, in any religion, in any culture, whether it's Hinduism, it's India, or any other part of the world. So people also debate on this, that apart from your matrimonial life which activates your D9 chart, but along with that, all those people who have completely embraced the name of the god, even in their chart, D9 chart in this way or regard gets activated, and if they are going to have strong powerful Raj Yoga in the D9 chart, they start showering their results from over there. So that is something where I want your contribution in the comment section. Do you actually think that D9 chart is not only going to get activated through marriage or through relationship, it can also get activated if someone is going to embrace the name of the god forever to the eternity? Now friends, let's come to the third question, which is, or the third feature of today's discussion, which is about the validation. So now friends, this becomes very important, because when we talk about the validation of the D9 chart, so definitely this is a chart which is generally being seen to check the true authenticity or strength or potential of the planets. Like the way I have mentioned this thing so many times in a lot of my videos, that I've seen in my own consulting research, someone who is going to have a Capricorn ascendant in the main Lagna chart, the ascendant chart, Saturn being the ascendant lord is weak in the 8th house. Now you are going to get this idea that just because his ascendant lord is weak in the 8th house, person's health is not going to be very good, person might have to face setbacks and failures in all areas of the life. But when you actually get into the life of the person is not at all facing the heat, rather he got benefited majorly in the time period of Saturn. So now you must be thinking that astrology is coming to a contradiction. So now friends, if you are going to open the D9 chart, and if you are going to find Saturn to be well placed over there, now in this same case, because even within the, when we talk about the Leo zodiac sign, so there is a Libra Navamsa pada over there as well. So the same person in whose chart I saw this alignment, he had like a Pisces ascendant in the D9 chart, and his Saturn is exalted in the 8th house. So that is friends, one thing which I want to say over here is that a D9 chart definitely plays a very pivotal role in understanding the true authenticity or the potential or the power of the planets. Now with that said, that doesn't mean that if you are going to have strong planets in the D9 chart, that they are going to start manifesting results without you putting efforts. Friends, you have to understand this thing, that D9 chart is actually the whole kind of a larger manifestation of the 9th house of your ascendant chart. 9th house, which is the house of the blessings of your father, of your ancestors, and the God and the divinity. So it means you have to put efforts as well, and efforts are only going to be directed towards the religious faith, belief, and how much, with conviction you are fulfilling and following the path of the dharma, of the righteousness. So the same example which I just mentioned, just because I know this person like personally, so I know how religious this person is. Whenever he get to know that, okay, on this auspicious occasion and alignment, planetary alignment is forming in a way that I should be doing some donation, I should be taking a holy bath in this place, I should be organizing this puja, I should be wearing this gemstone. So this person follows all the rituals, all the omens. So that is something which you have to learn, and you have to understand that when we talk about from the perspective of gaining the strength out of what is being promised or validated in the D9 chart, you have to put efforts as well. I always say this thing, the ultimate final validation and picture of your life only comes from the Lagan chart or the ascendant chart. D9 chart, if a planet is weak in the Lagan chart and it is strong in the D9 chart, that doesn't mean that you do not have to put efforts and this planet is like at a result or at the end is strong. No, it's not like that. The only outcome over here is that via putting efforts and doing remedies, you can get the best out of this planet. But if you're going to leave this planet like without putting any efforts, without doing any remedies, trust me, the planet is only going to manifest what is its picture and its strength on the surface on the ascendant chart, which is weak. So that means it is going to give struggle during its time period if you are not putting efforts what is being promised in the D9 chart. But yes friends, definitely if a planet is weak in the Lagan chart and planet is weak in the D9 chart as well, then definitely hope is very less, and you have to increase the intensity of your devotion, of faith, and the remedial measures. So that is one thing friends which I wanted to say over here, because when we even talk about from a planet being Vargotam, so if a planet is going to be placed in the same sign in the ascendant chart, in the D9 chart, so that means the planet is in a way is strong and there is a uniformity by which the planet is going to manifest results. And friends, one thing which I want to, that is the next section of myths. We will talk about that later. So now coming to the next section of the remedies. So now friends, see, that's very simple. When we talk about remedies, so as you know that you can divide whether the zodiac signs or the astrological houses in 4 categories basis the elements like air, earth, fire, water. So that's very simple. The way it has been advised in our Vedic scriptures is that if you're going to do remedy for a planet which is placed either in the fire sign or the fire house, so keeping the fasting is the right way of kind of doing remedies. If it's in the air sign or air house, the best approach is a mantra recitation, listening to the mythological story, and all the mythological books can be seen as a good way of giving strength and power to a air element. When we talk about from the perspective of the earth element, then we say that visiting the place of religious significance and wearing gemstone. And lastly friends, when we talk about the water energy, so that has everything to do with the taking holy bath with the herbs and monitoring your diet, and most importantly flowing things in the flowing water, like putting things which represent the element of that planet which you want to appease and putting it in the flowing water. So that is one approach of fixing it. And friends, one thing which I want to mention over here is that, because I cannot undermine the importance of D9 chart, which is a very very important chart, this is the chart of the divinity. So because of which even the planet which you want to do remedy for, so for example in your main ascendant chart, your conclusion and your assessment whatsoever could be the reason comes out to be that you have to currently do the remedy of the Mercury. So you have to see the placement of Mercury in the D9 chart. Now D9 chart, because this is the chart of the divine manifested being, so in whichever house the Mercury is going to be placed for which you are doing the remedy, it becomes very important your attitude towards the living signification of the house. So first of all, to begin with, if the planet you want to do remedy for, that planet is placed in the first house of the D9 chart, so that means that you have to do the Shram Dan. you cannot resort and rely on just putting money and directing other people for doing remedy. You have to direct and put yourself in the service in order to get the best results. And definitely second house is of the near and dear family, fourth house is of the mother, fifth house is of the children, like seventh house is of your partner, ninth house of father, 10th house of bosses. So even the living signification of the house which is being represented in the D9 chart, where the planet you want to do remedy is placed, you have to remain very respectful towards those people as well. And apart from all the remedial aspect, basis the element which I just mentioned, that the fire houses and the signs are 1, 5, 9, earth houses or signs are 2, 6, 10, air is 3, 7, 11, and water is 4, 8, 12. So that is something which you have to follow. So friends, now moving to the next aspect. So next is the Raj Yogas. So friends, I personally feel that Raj Yogas gain more strength if you will find in the D9 chart. Now you could say in a way that the divine intervention or the good karmas or the blessings of your ancestors, blessings of the gods, but in whichsoever way, if you are going to have good Raj Yogas in the D9 chart, that somehow gives more strength to the prospects of your luck, because ultimately D9 chart also tells about how lucky or how fortunate you are, how much you will be able to progress because of the push and support of the luck and divine omens. So if you're going to find the good Raj Yogas, like friends, I always say this thing, the best kind of Raj Yoga is that if you're going to have any conjunction of the angular house and the trine house being conjunct in one house, that is a very good yoga. If you're going to find like your even in the D9 chart, your first house lord being conjunct with either the 10th house or the 9th house lord, that can be considered as a very good Raj Yoga. Even if planets are going to be exalted in the D9 chart, that can be seen as a very good sign. Like the planetary vibration in a very subtle way will always help you, support you, benefit you. But again friends, in order to get the best out of the D9 chart, the prospects of faith, religious, and devotion needs to be very strong as well. Moving ahead friends, now comes the point of the myths. So now friends, the myth is that many times I have seen people even wearing gemstone on the basis of the alignments in their D9 chart as well. So for example, if you are Aries ascendant, so Venus becomes a Maraka planet for you, or in any certain alignment, like even if you are a Gemini ascendant or a Virgo ascendant, so Mars is not a very auspicious planet for you because of the rulership of the Dushtana Bhava, and your ascendant chart does not promise that you should wear a gemstone of Mars. But you opened the D9 chart, okay, in my D9 chart Mars is a very auspicious planet, it's a Yoga Karaka, I am a Cancer ascendant, I am a Leo ascendant in the D9 chart, so plus minus, yeah, I can wear it. No, it's not like that. When we talk about the gemstones, you should not wear that by looking at your D9 chart. The second thing is that I have also seen that many people also look at the Dasha from the D9 chart. So I don't think that make any sense. You can check your Dasha from your Lagan chart and from the moon chart, but looking at the Dasha or the transit of the planets from the D9 chart, I personally I have not seen any concrete result coming out of from there. That is my own inputs over there. Don't quote me on that. If you have found something otherwise, please share your experience in the comment section. And lastly friends, the analysis of the D9 chart. So friends, that's very simple, like the way I mentioned this thing, that if you go to a eye specialist, so eye specialist is only going to look at your eyes, not on your throat or not on your stomach or on your heart. So same way friends, when we talk about the analysis of the D9 chart, the houses which you have to give attention is the first house of the D9 chart, the 7th house of the D9 chart, and the 9th house of your D9 chart. The individual significator of the D9 chart is the planet Venus. You have to look at over there as well. Also friends, because D9 chart is the extract and summary of the divinity, so you have to also see that basis your ascendant, the first house sign of the D9 chart, where it connects on your ascendant chart. That is also going to give you this idea that the path of the devotion, the path of the religious austerities, in which specific area of life in your ascendant is it going to touch you. So for me, I'm a Aries ascendant, but in my D9 chart, my rising sign is Cancer. So trust me, the kind of emotional relief I feel, emotional contentment and fulfillment I feel by doing anything which is connected to or which involves religion or religious austerity, that cannot be compared with anything else. The kind of emotional contentment I get in the path of devotion or religious austerity. So that is how you can see that the way the path of religion or devotion touches you in which specific area of life. And same is the way, friends, when we talk about the matrimonial life. Now this could be the theme, consolidated summary of your matrimonial life, that if in your D9 chart the first house is, for example, is it a Leo? So matrimonial theme could be about, a recognition, about glory. If it's about Sagittarius, it's all about giving you path and showing you path in the life. If it's about Capricorn, achieving something substantial through matrimonial duties and responsibilities and cooperation. So that is something which we get to know, that which sign is rising on the first house of your D9 chart, where the first house lord in the D9 chart is placed, where exactly the path of matrimonial life is going to take you. So that is how, friends, you have to do the individual analysis or assessment. But yes, friends, once you open up the D9 chart, you have to see the specifically the first house, 7th house, 9th house and the individual placement of the planet Venus. So I hope, friends, this video might have served some purpose or served you some information, and basis the contribution, the participation and inputs, I will I will see that whether I have to make another video on this topic or not. So okay, friends, this is something which I wanted to say as a part of my inputs. For further more updates and notifications on the divine science of Vedic astrology, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and like my Facebook